nation's favourite antiques experts.
Yes, a good weight.
And it smells.
Oh, steady, behind the wheel of a classic car.
Good morning, my lady.
Good morning, Parker.
And a goal to scour Britain for antiques. Whoopsie.
Come on.
The aim to make the biggest profit at auction. But it's no mean feat. They'll be worthy winners.
And valiant losers.
Will it be the high road to glory?
It's about winning.
Or the low road to disaster? Pop, pop. This is the Antiques Road Trip. Giddy up. Putting the pedal to the metal in their classic left-hand drive convertible are Charles Hanson and Christina Trevanion.
This, to me, is how this car should be driven. Lid down, sun shining, come on.
If you were to suggest these two are on their last legs, you'd be almost right. They are, in fact, on their last leg of their antique adventure. And Christina is leading the way.
I'm winning.
Christina.
I'm winning,
Christina,
baby.
I know. But you know what happens? You get jittery on the last leg. You get nervous.
Who does?
But you do.
Oh, do I?
You've got all this money
Stop.
to spend.
Mind games, mind games. I'm not getting nervous.
You might say, catch me if you can, Hanson. Christina, I'm on your tail.
Charles is aiming to be the comeback kid. He started the week with £200 in his little piggy. Despite a calamitous beginning, he now has just under £350 to spend. Christina's fortune also took a tumble, but she's fought her way back to the top and now has just over £500 in her piggy bank, so well done.
We are both so ridiculously competitive that I can see that this is not going to be over until that last gavel falls.
Exactly.
It's only one find away from you beating me, and I am absolutely not going to let you pick me to the post at the very last minute.
Really good.
To catch Christina, Charles must be firing on all cylinders, just as their 1969 Fiat Spider has been all week. It has carried them from the west coast of England through Wales and Yorkshire. Their road trip will end at a final auction in Newcastle upon Tyne. On this leg, Charles and Christina will be tripping through Cambridgeshire and Northampton. First stop is Huntingdon in Cambridgeshire. With Charles dropped off, Christina will be scouring the multitude of items inside Cam's Lock Antiques. With over 60 dealers, there must be a collectible or curio that will catch her eye.
Look at that. This is what we refer to as a captain's chair. Very, very typical form with this spindle gallery around the middle, turned from oak, wonderful upholstered seat, and then you've got the oak base here, which is on casters. These are proving really, really popular at auction at the moment, and probably because they are incredibly comfortable. I mean, you could spend all day swivelling around in your office chair. Proper swivelly, swivelly, swivelly action. Oh, it's really working as well. Whee! So not only practical, hours of fun.
Yeah. The antique chair has a ticket price of £130. And whilst Christina has a play, Charles is in the cathedral city of Ely. This grand old city is situated in the Cambridgeshire Fens. Charles is here to search St Mary's antique shop.
My word, who's this? Charles!
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
How are you doing? Your name is?
Peter Warwick. My business partner, Christine Newstead.
Hello, business partner.
Yeah.
And who's this here?
This is Tinkerbell.
Hello, Tinkerbell.
If she's Tinkerbell, does that make Charles the young Peter Pan? He's certainly the boy who never grows up.
Oh, goodness me. I'm in heaven. And look at this. This here is a silver wine funnel, and the hallmark is around 1808. So when you were decanting your wine you would use this wine funnel, and what's important is that the inner section here, to take out the sediment, that's also hallmarked, and the hallmarks hopefully correspond to the year on the exterior of the funnel it does. I like this. I'm going to put this on the top there. I've got to be calm because it's only my first shop and I mustn't get overly excited.
Charles Hanson? Overly excited? Oh, not on your Nelly.
This is what we call a pap boat. And a pap boat was a little vessel by which soft food was prepared to feed babies. So back in the Georgian times, if you were Queen Charlotte, wife of George III, with all those children at that time in the 1770s, you may have used this. So, number 2. I can't believe this, it's like picking sweets today.
He's like a kiddie in a candy store. And this Roman-era silver ring
Very interesting ring, that.
has also caught my sweet-toothed chum's eye.
Again, it might go over here. Look at that, an Anglo-Saxon brooch, because I could put that over here with the ring. There's also that interesting type of brooch. I mean, that could be Saxon or Roman. And shape of a cockerel. Can you see that? That can go over there as well.
He's having himself a pick and mix.
And here you've got an interesting late Iron Age pennular brooch. So I'm making the Hanson hoard. I'm making my Hanson hoard of treasures to take to Newcastle.
Fortune favours the brave, and Charles is prepared to spend big in his antique auction battle with Christina. Back in Huntington, let's hope she's no longer larking about.
There's a bird in here. Hey, buddy. But don't poo on me, please.
At times like this, you need a person at one with the creatures of the wild. And thankfully, we've got Christina. She is a farmer's wife, you know. And brave.
I got it. Hi, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. Come on, shall we go and let you outside? You shouldn't be in here, should you? Go, little one. Whee!
Well done, Christina. Super work. Now, back to the antique business.
Do you know, I love these. It always amazes me how reasonable dressing table mirrors are. The architecture of it is just so fabulous. It's got these wonderful barley twist supports. It's mahogany, this wonderful shaped serpentine front there. And look at that, £60. If you had to go out and buy a mirror, it would cost you more than £60. Why wouldn't you want that rather than some faceless, anonymous, plastic-framed mirror? Give me that any day of the week.
Christina has to remember the market, and dressing tables and their mirrors are far from big sellers. Back in Ely, Charles is getting down to brass tacks with Peter for his metaphorical war chest. Gosh.
Good eyes you've got.
So, Pete, first of all, this pat boat...
It's £100 plus, but I'll do you a deal on it. It's
Yeah.
£65.
OK, this I like a lot.
So do I, that's why I've got it. 75.
OK,
Charles has combined the Roman ring, Anglo-Saxon crucifix brooch, the bird brooch, and the Iron Age bangle into a job lot.
Parcel,
yeah.
£80.
3 lots, 65 plus 75 plus 80 equals how much?
220.
Gosh, you're quick as well.
220.
At last, Charles is done.
Pete, if I wanted to throw in
Whoops, I spoke too soon.
that gramophone over there,
£30.
it's got a lovely cornet.
It's beautiful. No. Take me home today, please. I need a new home.
How can I resist?
You
Sold.
can't resist.
Sold.
Good. OK.
So that's 250.
At last, he's done.
One thing I did just see
Come on now, you can't buy the whole flipping shop.
was a small poultry medallion in a case box. How much?
£10?
I think it's charming. I'm going quite wild here. And you're a fine breed, you know. You're no turkey bird. I'll take it.
Go for it, go for it.
There we are.
So, Charles has bought an assortment of jewellery, the pap boat, the wine funnel, the gramophone, and the poultry medal for a total of £260.
20.
Back in Huntington, Christina is still scouring. Oh, she does love a scar, that woman.
Ooh, that's interesting. African club stick. It looks like some sort of tribal walking stick, but that's a really unusual wood. Is that some sort of palm wood? That's fantastic. I mean, it's just so wonderfully tactile. It just feels great. It's obviously had years and years and years of wear. So simple, just been whittled out of a piece of wood. I don't really know a huge amount about it other than I like it. Have a chat to Paula.
Remember, the other items Christina was keen on include the captain's chair and the dressing table mirror. What can you do, Paula?
160 would be the best.
£160. You've got a deal.
Thank you.
Hey, Paula.
Christina's secured the tribal staff for £20, chair for 100 and the mirror for 40. Good discounts and hopefully auction as money makers. Meanwhile, Charles has made his way to the countryside around the village of Ramsey in the historic county of Huntingdonshire. Is there a better way to spend a glorious summer's day than a jolly cycle?
Ah, still life.
Charles is on a mission to find out about the bicycle's role in World War I from local historian Martin Smith.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well, Charles. Are you?
You must be Martin.
I am indeed, yes.
On a fine day with the sun shining. Beautiful.
I'm pleased about that.
On the eve of World War I, volunteer reserve units were being formed all over the country. In Huntingdonshire, one of the men in charge of forming a local territorial army was the 8th Earl of Sandwich. He proposed that the local unit be mobile, and the Hunts Cycle Battalion was born.
From a military point of view, you could ride a man quite easily on one of these bikes. Basically, they're doing the same job as the dragoons,
Yes.
which were horses,
Right.
but you don't have to feed water or do anything like that to the bikes.
No.
Martin and Charles have arrived in the market town of Ramsey, where the men were trained in the grounds of the ancient abbey.
They didn't have a lot of time to train, really, because they weren't formed until March 1914. And then at the outbreak of the First World War in August 1914, they were shipped up to Yorkshire and Lincolnshire coast. It was coast watching. They were actually the eyes and ears of the army up on the coast. So if the Germans invaded, they pedalled like mad up the coast to tell the sergeants that the invasion was coming.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The soldier on a bike was a new development for the army. The early 1900s saw the bicycle change from the penny farthing style to something we would recognise today, with brakes and gears which allowed the bicycle to be brought into military service.
It was homegrown bikes, it was homegrown local talent coming together in this new battalion.
And for a lot of people, it was the first time they'd ever left Ramsey,
Of course.
because they were tied to the farm 7 days a week. 80% of them were agricultural labourers.
Really?
It's a really agricultural county.
As the war progressed and the British Army suffered a shocking number of fatalities, the men of the Hunts cyclists left their bikes behind to fight on the front lines. Like many small towns and villages around Britain, Ramsey has erected a memorial to the men of the region who died fighting.
It's quite sombre, Martin, isn't it?
Yes. After the slaughter on the first day of July 1916, on the Battle of the Somme, when we lost so many men, it took about a week for the numbers of losses to be worked out, and they were in desperate need of men to fill those that had been killed. So the Hunt cyclists went across to France.
So in many respects, they were filling in the gaps.
Yep, they were filling in the gaps for the people that were killed. So if you look here, we've got one Huntingdonshire cyclist, a gentleman called Percy Palmer, who lived just round the corner in Great White. He joined the Hunt cyclists in 1914, went out to France and died in December 1980.
And what age was he? Would you?
He was 22. Yeah, and he was one of the older ones.
For Martin, the story of the Hunt's cyclists is a personal one. His grandfather joined the battalion and was then dispatched to fight on the front lines.
This gentleman here, my grandfather, Horace Jakins, he joined the Hunt cyclists when he was 16, underage. He went out to the Somme, went over the top twice in the 2 weeks that he was in the front line. On the second time, he was shot 3 times by the German machine gunners, all down his right-hand side, and was picked up from a shell hole in no man's land by the Germans and was taken prisoner of war.
Martin's grandfather returned home at the end of the war. 770 of his fellow Hunt's cyclists, however, died fighting overseas.
It's the education, Martin, for the next generation.
Yep.
And regardless of World War I, what I've learnt about this battalion has been amazing.
Well, it's winner takes all at the final auction, and Christina knows her rival will be determined to triumph.
Charlie is going to risk everything. He's going to want to crush me like a stone under his shoe. Ah! Well, I'm not very competitive, so I don't really mind whether I win or lose, really.
I'm not fooled by that sweet smile. Oh, no.
No, I don't believe me either.
Christina is driving to the lovely little village of Land Beach. It's home to the quirkily named Stantiques.
Hi.
Hiya, you all right?
Very well. Who are you?
My name's Stan.
Hi, Stan. Lovely to meet you. This is your antique shop.
Yes, it is, yeah. Just go in and have a look, have a browse.
Is that all right?
Yes,
Brilliant.
cool.
Thank you.
Stan's Emporium is chock full of antique delights.
Ooh. Hello. That's interesting. Stan, have you done any research onto this? It's got to be Troika, hasn't it?
Troika, maybe. Troika-esque studio pottery.
Oh, that's just so tempting.
Troika pottery was founded in the 1960s in Cornwall and has become highly collectible. Their work was noted for its combination of artistry and function, and pieces in the past have sold for over £2,000.
It's got to be Troika, hasn't it?
Is it Troika? Isn't it Troika?
I mean, to me, it looks absolutely Troika.
I wouldn't like to say.
Why not?
Because there's felt on the bottom of it, and that's normally where the name is.
Well,
or
always,
the initials,
isn't it?
the
Yeah,
initials
you
of
would,
the...
You would find it written Troika,
Yes.
and then the initials of who did it.
It's as found,
So why would somebody have put felt on the bottom?
I'm assuming, so it didn't scratch their nice sideboard.
So have you not taken the felt off?
No, it's a mystery.
Are you not tempted to take the felt off? Because if it's not Troika, it's not worth very much. But if it is Troika, ooh, that's tempting. Are you not just, oh, that's like having, I don't know, that's like having a scab that you're really desperate to pick. Oh, it's coming. Oh, no, I must have, the thing is, I don't think I want to know.
I believe it is. It's one of those things. For the giveaway price, 40 quid.
Would you take 30?
I'll do you 35.
35? You got a deal.
I can't believe she didn't peel and reveal. That risky £35 spend could equal a nice reward at auction. So, fingers are crossed. As our first day's road trip in draws to a close, I wonder what great topic of the moment our intellectual duo are debating.
If you were on a desert island,
Yes.
what would be the desserts you would enjoy and why?
Ooh, good question. Well, I think it would be quite hot, wouldn't it, on a desert island? It's got to be some sort of sorbet or ice cream, just try and cool you down a bit, hasn't it?
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll catch up with you.
No.
Thanks.
No, you could go and fluff off on your other desert
I'll
island.
go and catch the fish.
Yeah.
For the main course.
Farewell, adieu, and nighty-night. It's a misty, moist morning, but Charles and Christina won't let that dampen their spirits. Oh no.
How do you feel?
Strong.
Strong enough.
I feel nervous.
Yes.
I feel feel
Why do you feel
you're in the,
nervous?
Danny, you're in the wrong gear. You're in fifth.
Sorry.
Second. No, just put it down.
Sorry. There we go.
It's the final day of antique exploration, and the sweet smell of success is in the air.
Can you smell something?
No? Are you blowing smoke? No! Hold on. Are you blowing smoke? It's a bit windy in the car.
You are seriously shut up. I did have a curry last night.
Okay. Had a curry last night. There we go.
Shush!
Oh, Christine, there's some smoke. Look.
Oh my
Get out
God,
of the car,
no,
guys.
Jesus,
We'll get out of the
just get out of the
car.
car.
There's some smoke.
I told you it was smooth.
Guys, the car's smoking.
Time for the road trip pit crew to spring into action.
The car is on fire!
It's okay. We're steering in the right way.
Get the antiques out quick.
The car is on fire.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Thought that might happen.
Gas thought it might happen. There was some smoke coming out of the steering wheel.
Lord. Oh, this car may be smoking, but our experts were on fire yesterday. Charles went on an antique spending spree buying an assortment of jewellery.
I'm making the Hanson hoard.
A baby food bowl, a wine funnel, a gramophone and a poultry medal.
You're no turkey bird.
For the far from paltry sum of £260. Christina, though, spent £195 on a rather odd array of items. A tribal walking stick, a dressing table mirror, a captain's chair, and a vase in the style of celebrated potter's troika.
Because if it's not troika, it's not worth very much. But if it is troika...
Turns out driver error was responsible for that earlier interlude. Excessive, enthusiastic use of all the electrics. But with a fuse replaced, we're back on the road.
I bought... Well, I think I know what it is, and I know what I want it to be,
Okay.
but it might not be.
Go on. Ah! It is what you call troika.
I think it is.
Troika.
But where is troika signed?
On the bottom, isn't
On
it?
the bottom, and this one has...
There we go. Sorry, Christine.
And this one has felt on the bottom, so we don't know whether it's actually signed on the bottom or not. And I'm sort of tempted to take the felt off.
Take it off.
But no,
Go on,
I don't.
take it
No,
off
I don't
now.
want to.
Why not?
Because I don't want to know. It might say I'm not troika on the bottom.
Yeah. But it's very, very nice, Christina.
Exactly.
How much was it?
It was £35.
That's really good.
Charles has dropped off Christina and has made his way to the village of Weedon Beck in Northampton. He's visiting Vintique, which is housed in an old military depot built during the Napoleonic Wars to store munitions in case of invasion. Now it's chock full of antiques and collectibles rather than cannonballs and gunpowder.
One of the items I haven't really found this antique road trip has been the joy I have for ceramics, particularly early English pots. Here you've got more modern studio, you've got blue and white, but just hiding in the corner over here is a jug.
Oh! Oh dear, careful, Charles.
I quite like this jug because it's hand-painted with these beautiful enamel floral sprays. This Rococo shell puts to the late Georgian time of circa 1820 with this lovely iron red rim. Importantly, it was probably made for a wedding for P. and Jane Dickin. I love it. It's well enamelled, it's attractive. Have a guess how much?
I don't know, 30?
£6.
No, get it bought, boy.
If that jug wasn't to make £30 all day long, I'll be a poorer man for it.
Hey, and at £6, it'd be cheeky to ask for a discount. The Georgian jug is Charles's first antique buy of the day. Well done. Don't throw it in. God, dear, oh dear. Meanwhile, Christina has made her way to the county town of Northampton. A travel guide published in 1878 said the area was the land of shoemakers. Today, the county is still home to some of the world's leading shoe brands, such as Barker, Joseph Cheney and Dr. Martin. Christina is on her way to visit the factory of Crockett and Jones, a family business which has been making shoes since 1879. She's meeting company director Nick Jones to find out more about the history of shoemaking in the area.
Why is Northampton so synonymous with shoemaking?
Well, Northampton, the industry started here about 900 years ago. We had water, we had leather, and we had oak.
So why were water and oak so important in the process?
Well, they were in the tanning. They were both needed in the tanning process.
Tanning is the method of treating animal hide to produce leather. In medieval times, chips of oak would be soaked in water to produce what is called tannin, which would be applied to the de-haired and de-greased animal skin to stop it from decomposing.
It was a cottage industry in those days, so all the work was done out. There weren't big factories. Throughout the villages, throughout the county, throughout the town, they were making in the house, in the back room. They didn't have a lot of space, but all the houses had, or a lot of the houses had, a little workplace at the back.
A census taken in 1841 lists nearly 2,000 individual shoemakers in the county. But when the Industrial Revolution hit, the shoemakers moved from the home to the factories.
Tell me how important mechanisation was within the industry.
All machines helped, but in 1910, according to Northampton Independent of February 1910, Crockett & Jones was the first company to have a Goodyear welted machine. They came from America, and what they did was they sewed in a welt into the shoe.
What's a welt?
The welt goes around the bottom of the shoe, holds the whole shoe together. It sews the upper to the rib, to the bottom to the insole, which is the bottom of the shoe.
Right,
but it changed construction, and they were able to do 500 to 600 pairs a day on these machines.
The introduction of machines meant manufacturers could now produce a higher quantity of products.
Throughout the whole of Northamptonshire, huge numbers made. I've seen records that we did 640,000 pairs a year. It's a huge amount of shoes.
Huge amount of shoes. Sounds a bit like my wardrobe.
It does. The Far East drove up most of the factories here, I suggest.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
So
I think
cheap
that's
imports.
cost, low labour costs, cheap materials, throwaway culture. I mean, now...
Just so disposable.
Yes, and that's what we survived because we focus on quality.
There are still about 20 shoe manufacturers in the area, and shoe exports from Britain now equal over £1 billion each year. Top quality local products made by local people like Charlie.
Nick tells me that you are one of the longest serving, most skilled people here, is that right?
Well, that's very nice of him to say.
How long have you been here?
I started in 1969, so it's 50 years coming up now.
50 years, oh my goodness. And what are you doing?
My job is edge trimming.
Right.
It basically is giving shape to the shoe, but when it comes to me, you have two odd shoes, and when they leave me, they have to be a pair. We want the customers to come back time and time again, and that's the way we stay in business.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right, Christina, we're going to meet Bev.
Oh.
This is Bev, and she is an antiquer.
Oh, Bev, we're both antiquers. Hello. Hello, lovely to meet you. So what are we going to do here, Bev?
I'm putting the finished coat on the shoes to give them the antique effect.
Bev is a shoe antiquer, using dye to add age to new shoes, and Christina's going to give it a go.
Oh no! Where's best to start, Bev?
Start at the back and work your way along.
Work my way along the side?
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
It's in there, haven't I?
No, that's fine.
Oh, Bev, look at that. That's awful.
It'll be fine.
Oh no, look at that. I've left a big line down the middle. You didn't do that. Oh, I'm not good at antiquing.
A good effort, though. Back to your usual antiquing, please. Cheeky. Parting, they say, is such sweet sorrow, and Charles and the Fiat Spider have become particularly close.
I can't believe it, hey Spider. Hugh and I, we're crawling to the last shop. You're driving beautifully. There's still romance, there's still finds in me. I will gather the very, very best. Won't we, Spider? Yes, thank you.
Yes, Charles is driving to join Christina in Northampton, where she's made her way to the old bakehouse antiques. Not only does it have hall after hall of items, but also a warren of sheds and outhouses. Christina has over £300 left that's burning a hole in her pocket. She's certainly not going to be spoilt for choice in here. The last chance to buy.
Hey, that's nice.
Now, this looks promising. Look at the quality of the carving, the lustre of the oak timber.
This looks really nice. Hang on a second.
Ah, she means this thing behind.
What we've got here is a really rather lovely 19th century pine chest of drawers. You do see a lot of pine chest of drawers, but this one has been painted to simulate a much richer, much more expensive wood, mahogany. And so often you found that these pine chest of drawers have been stripped in the 1970s, 1980s. But what I really like about it is got that original paintwork. It's a bit tatty on the top. It's got all its knobs. You never find it with all its knobs. There is a little bit of damage, unfortunately, to the front leg there. Look at this. £30. Where do you buy a chest of drawers for £30? Oh, I love it. And look, you've even got original graffiti on there. Good old Kaylee, circa 1999, drew a little flower pot on there.
Time to get owner Steve in to do a deal.
This might take me a few minutes to get out. Steve!
Here he comes. She found him in a generous mood.
30 quid. I think we can halve that. Definitely.
15 quid?
Yeah, have it.
Yeah, go on then. You got a deal.
Christina has made her final purchase, Kaylee's old chest of drawers. But there's plenty more antiques here, and Charles has arrived with £80 still to spend. What will take his fancy?
On your top deck over here is what you've put down as being an olive squeeze.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes, but I'm not too sure.
I might call you Popeye.
It could be, yeah, it could be a few bits.
Yeah. Let's have a quick look at it now, because what I like about this, on a serious note, Steve,
Yeah.
you twist that, you've got very quickly under here some sort of solid pan that then squeezes out the juice that rolls out this little drain here. People now, they have big kitchens, big central islands where they have these objects which are bygones. And kitchenalia, you could maybe squeeze juice, pear juice, apple juice maybe, squeeze whatever juice you want.
Now, to put the squeeze onto Steve.
What's the best price on it?
I think if I sold it to you at £60, you'd be making a profit on it.
Go on, I'll take it.
That's a juicy item, all right. Charles has paid £60 for his final antique. All that remains is to head north to Newcastle.
Bye!
OK, go, go, go!
Oh, let's give it a rumble. Let's give it a rumble. Get ready. Get steady. And rumble.
Everybody rumble.
Freaking it, sweating it, busting the mic. Christina and Charles, I hope you sleep tight.
Just wreck the mic, we'll just wreck the mic, we'll just wreck the mic. Psych.
It's auction day and we're in Newcastle upon Tyne. 6 long years have passed since this pair last went head-to-head at the end of a road trip, with Charles claiming victory.
You're swaggering, I don't like it.
Man, why?
You're looking far too sure of
I've been
yourself.
behind you all
Yes,
week.
you have, I
and,
know, it's been brilliant.
Come of the hour.
Oh, I think it's all
Hopefully my time.
This road trip has been an epic clash of the titans. Our duo began their trip in Huntingdon in Cambridgeshire and have wound their way north to Newcastle upon Tyne. Today's sale is being held at Thomas Miller Auctioneers. Christina spent £210 on 5 lots.
Christine has bought a really fine piece of furniture. I mean, look at the top. It's so scrubbed, it's got graffiti on, but it's true. And for £15, it's what they call a steal.
Well, they never say judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a chest by its scuff marks. Charles forked out £326 on 5 lots.
Do you know, I love silver wine funnels, and they are always eternally popular at auction. So often, the sieve has become detached from the base and you find that they're not together anymore. But that's still as it was when it was made. Charlie's really upped his game for the last leg. He's bought that at a very good price.
30 bid.
Today's man with the gavel is Alistair Scott.
You're still all out in front. An interesting job lot of jewellery items, brooches, etc. Probably the oldest items in the auction today. Plenty of history behind those. Lots of interest pre-sale. Look nice in your display cabinet. The captain's chair, they're always good sellers. I think you'd feel quite important sitting in that chair. It should do well. It's a pretty handsome lot.
Bidders are poised in the room, online and on the phone. As things stand, Charles is trading Christina by almost £150. Without further ado, let the final auction commence. First up is Christina's tribal walking stick.
This has a lovely feel about it.
Simple.
Yeah,
Simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
For £18 bid, straight away on the internet.
Oh, that's
£18 now we go to 20. £25 in the room. On the right-hand side.
Internet, come on.
30 offered on the internet. 32.
Well done, sir.
£32 yours.
That's a step in the right direction.
Walked a couple of paces and £4 profit.
Next, Charles has combined the pottery jug and press into one lot.
Explain to me why you put the press and the jug together.
Okay, I bought too much stuff.
Yeah.
I've got £30 offered in 2 places. Any advance at 35 offered. 40 bid, I'm catcher, 45 offered. Internet jumps in at £50. Are we all sure of £50 for lots? No, 50. Any advance at £50.
Oh, no.
Who's going to give me 5 more? Selling at 50 now.
He'll be hard-pressed to see the amusing side of that loss.
No, you can make one. It's not funny. It's not funny.
Will Christina be able to bask in reflected glory from a dressing table mirror?
Mirror, mirror.
On the wall.
On the wall.
£14
My man, who is the fairest?
Standing £18 offered.
Oh.
You bid.
Go on, come
18
on.
bid. E-bidding, sir.
Yeah.
£20 offered. 25 online. £30, thank you, sir.
Go on.
It's £30 at the 30 yours.
A lucky bidder's got themselves a bargain there.
Well done, lad.
Well done.
Well done, lad.
Next up, Charles's Georgian silver pap boat.
White.
I just love it, Pat. I just think it's just so tactile and gorgeous. George the Second.
George II.
George the Second.
I have a bid online of 70 bid, 75, 80 bid, 85, 90 bid, 95, or even 100. I've got £95 on £100, thank you. Perhaps not. I've got 100. Are we all finished bidding at 100?
Bon voyage, silver pap boat. Hello, profit.
Literally hundreds of years of history, and it's still here. Isn't that amazing?
Troika or not Troika? That is the question. Only the winning bidder will know the answer.
It's your era, isn't it? When you were born, it could have been a christening gift to you.
I'm not.
Back in the 70s. We're
I was
giggling.
not born in the 70s.
You were?
I was not born in
You're being
the 70s.
serious?
You were born in the 70s. I was
Yes,
not.
I was.
I'm a whole decade later.
You're being serious?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
I've got £20 offered already. At 25 bid, I'm coming to you, sir. 30 bid, 35, 40 bid, 45, 50 bid. The internet lights up. £55 at the back of the room.
Take a bow.
£55. All done.
The gamble has paid off.
Great price.
Now, it's Charles's wine funnel.
I just like the reason it was used.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You prefer the white wine? You're a red lady.
Well, no, white wine really.
White wine.
80 bid, thank you. In 2 places. 85 offered. 90 bid. 95 bid. 100 bid. £110 internet.
I'm very happy.
120 on the internet.
Okay.
It's all going 120 all sure.
He can't whine about that profit. Charles is catching up Christina.
You put the A in ante, like that. I'm a happy man.
The A in ante.
A in ante.
Next up is Christina's captain's chair.
You have been our lady captain throughout the week, leading your vice captain.
Oh, captain, my captain.
Handsome and a captain.
40 bid.
Yeah, 40
45
pounds,
offered.
there we go.
Internet lights up. 50 bid. 55.
Well done.
65. 75. 80. 5. 90. 95 offered. 100 bid on the internet.
Take a bow.
110 bid. 120 bid.
Close.
£120. All finished?
Captain on deck of the good ship Moneymaker, eh?
I'm trying, but I can't catch this lady.
Well, I don't know. I think there's still time, Charlie. There's still time.
Charles's gramophone's up next.
It's going to do well.
Play the music.
Yeah, get on those
The
decks.
music.
Opening bid online already of some £60.
Ooh.
Any advance of £60 for online?
Come on.
I've got 70 bid on the laptop. 75 offered, you sir. 80 bid online. 85 if you wish. 90 bid. Internet for 90.
For the record, Charles knows his stuff, but you knew that.
That is trebles what I paid for it.
Christina is hoping for a top drawer profit from her final item.
It's the ultimate in shabby decor for the right reasons.
Less of the shabby. It's more chic than shabby.
No, you are chic. I'm the shabby one.
Opening bid 20. 25 offered. 30 bid. 35 offered.
You know what's going to move?
40, 45 against the internet.
Christina.
50 bid.
Christina.
It's £55. It's £60 on the internet. Selling online. Hammer comes down at 60.
Course, she's made a pretty penny on her not-so-pretty chest of drawers.
That was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, not bad, eh?
It's the final lot. It's all come down to the Hanson hoard. Charles needs a strong three-figure profit to win.
They've all been dug up last 5 years. They've sat in the ground for almost 1,000 years. And they're alive now.
85 offered. It's £85. At £90 between the room. 95 offered. 100 bid. 110. 120, thank you, sir. 130 the internet.
This is why we love
You're out. 140 the internet. 150, 160 bid.
Okay, enough now. Enough now.
190 the internet.
Go on, son.
Yes. 220 offered. 220. Final call at £220 and we finish.
Hanson found you and delivered.
The hidden gems have turned up trumps. Well, I'm blowed.
This is a moment the week hinges on. Yeah. For you.
I can't get...
Good, ladies first.
It's time to total up and declare a winner. How exciting. Charles started the day with just under £350. After auction costs, he's made almost £150 profit. Wow, giving him a final total of just under £500. So well done. Christina began the day in the lead with just over £500. After sale room fees are deducted, she still made £33.54 profit. She ends with £537.52p. Brilliant. All final profits go to children in need.
You made me a very good run for my money.
It's an amazing week.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, partner.
Come on, then.
Come on.
This Antiques road trip has been a right old roller coaster.
It's a bit windy up here.
Charge!
Come on.
Aye, aye.
Is it that?
Oh, I don't like doing the job.
They do call me Hawkeye Hansen.
Come on! Fuck off. 10 kilograms, quite heavy, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, baby.
What a super road trip. Thank you. Next time, a brand new road trip.
You ready for this, Tim?
I am.
Featuring Catherine Southern and Tim Medhurst on an antique safari.
I feel like I'm going to have a herd of wildebeests running in front of me any minute now.
Although we can't guarantee the exotic, with one possible exception.
And I think I'd call her Alice.